rallying? Aren't we fighting for the 6 votes that are undecided?
Hey, everybody.
Seriously, if you are still wondering, gee,
just kind of wanted to talk to you guys today about
what more do you need to hear?
my experience with coronavirus. I wasn't sure if I should post a video. Wasn't sure about it, but I figured since I had gotten it and was out for a while and
these are great people.
Got over it. I remember when I was down with it, when I was sick with it. There wasn't a whole lot of information. There was no treatment. There was there still was no treatment, and there was very little information on it. So YouTube was the place I went to find out, what I could about it. So I started just trying to find out as much information as I can about it. YouTube has always been a resource for me. It's always been very helpful for information just about anything you want these days. So just for people out there that's everybody that's scared and everybody's on lockdown, people getting upset, they're stressed. My number one concern was this little lady right here. She's 6 months old now. She was born 2 days before the lockdown, when it all got locked down. So that was our experience with it. She came in when it was just insane. The day she was born, we left the hospital. Everything went on lockdown. And her mom had to go back in the hospital because she was having complications. So we were lucky to be able to go back and stay with her a couple of days to get through that. But yeah, but as soon as we got through that, everything went on full lockdown. So if anybody had to go in the hospital for anything, there was no, they couldn't have visitors or anything. So we actually got lucky. We got pretty lucky during that time that we were able to be there for her and get through it. Well, basically it is August 25th is today's date. I guess I'll start from the beginning. I believe it was a Sunday, August 2nd. I work at night, so I went to work, and I thought it was kind of normal. I was, tired. Sunday's my first day back at work, so I was just tired, a little fatigued. Let me get this TV turned down. Okay, yeah. So it was August 2nd. It was a Sunday. I worked third shift, so I went in, that evening to start my shift, and I was feeling tired, feeling a little fatigued, kind of spacey, kind of dizzy. Didn't think too much about it. Just thought I was, dehydrated. I usually, take energy shots, so I, drank half of that, to get my energy going. But I usually try to put that off as long as possible, because I usually don't even like to drink those until, I'm feeling really tired, just to make it through the rest of my shift, say halfway through. But on this particular night, it was, hold on, Pumpkin. Oh, I know. Here, how about this? How's that? There you go. Okay, and it was about an hour into my shift, I decided to drink it. And it picked me up, but it did something crazy to me. Little did I know my body was fighting this virus, and taking an energy shot put my metabolism, it just messed me up. It put me into overdrive. And I was dizzy, I was lightheaded, I thought I was going to pass out, I thought I was going to throw up. I felt my heart was racing. From moment to moment, it scared the crap out of me. It literally scared the shit out of me. And So I tried to endure that. I kept telling myself, just push, dude. Just push. You're going to get through this. Just push. You know, you're tired. Something's up. You probably ate something bad. And that was another thing. I thought I ate something bad. I thought I had food poisoning. I said, you know, just drink water. You know, just drink water like you normally do. So I was throwing back water like crazy. But it wasn't helping. I just, as the night went on, I just kept getting worse. So halfway through the shift, I told my manager, I was like, look, dude, and he knows I don't do this. You know, when I'm at work, I'm at work. I'm there till we're done. And I went to him, I said, I don't know what's going on, man, but I can't do this. I got to go home. I feel like I'm going to pass out any second. You know, I'm having to stop, you know, between tasks and just take a break, you know, and that's just not me. I like to go. That's me. And he's like, all right, man, you know, you do what you need to do. Everything will be fine. I'll take care of it. I'll let you go ahead and go home. So, you know, I left that night. It was on my way home. I thought I was going to have to call her mom because I didn't think I was going to make it home. I was literally nodding out back and forth, and it's about a 35-minute drive from work to home. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. There's very little traffic, so if I would have went off the road, nobody would have known nothing for a while. So I just rolled the windows down, you know, just letting the breeze hit me, just dizzy, lightheaded, feeling sick to my stomach. And you know, somehow I made it home. And pulled into the driveway, you know, dragged myself up the driveway and in the house and landed on the couch here. Turned the TV on, the next thing I know, I was out. And I stayed out for about 12, 13 hours. I slept. And so after, you know, the next day, I started feeling feverish. I just wanted to lay down. I didn't really feel like doing anything. I just was in bed. And that was a Sunday into a Monday. So I was like, I just need to rest. I just need to sleep. And, you know, I'll just rest up, you know, drink, just try to do what I can, take in some fluids. Because I still didn't have much of an appetite. But I made myself eat. Just little bites of stuff. And, hey, you went to work. Felt a little bit better. I could tell I had a fever. At this point at my job, we were taking temperatures. They were taking their temperatures when we came in. They had already started the protocol of where we had to wear masks when we come into the meeting area, in our locker area. So they would take our temperatures before we even got in the door. There's a series of questions that they would ask. You know, have you been out of town? Have you been in contact with blah blah blah? You know, with anybody that had it? You feeling feverish? Well, since I had been taking the Tylenol, it brought my fever down. And see, this is something I wasn't aware of. So, you know, I just went in as normal. They would take my temperature, it would come up normal, and then we would go, you know, do the shift as normal. Well, I still wasn't feeling better that Monday night. I didn't want to say anything to my boss. I did. Oh, pumpkin, please. Cutie pie, what are you laughing at? It's not funny. That hurts. Yeah, so I hope this light's alright, that you guys can see and hear pretty good. I'm a couch tater when I'm not at work, so I like to watch the news and Entertainment Tonight and all that shit. But anyway, so that Monday night, went back to work, still feeling too hot, but I took my Tylenol and I brought my fever down. I had a little bit of sense of normalcy. And decided, you know, I'm going to push through it because, you know, I got to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? I got to do what I got to do. And my job pays us pretty well. So went on through the shift. About 3/4 of the way through the shift, we worked 10-hour shifts. It hit me. It started to hit me again. And I'm like, oh, God, I just want to go home, go to bed. I just want to lie down because you feel fatigued. You're tired. You're way more tired than normal. And, you know, I'm just thinking, like I said, I might have eaten something bad. I didn't know at the time that I had this virus, but that's what it was. I'm thinking I've done ate something. It's going to take a couple days for me to work this out of my system. And so, I asked my boss. I went to him again, said we have maybe a couple hours left in the shift, and I just want to go home and go to bed. He's like, look, dude, we're almost done. Just push through it, and we'll be done in an hour or so. And I was like, you're right. I'll just push through it like I normally do, so that's what I did. You okay, Pumpkin? You want this? Want it? Okay. And so that was Monday. Like I said, went home, slept through the night, slept through the day again. You okay, sweetie? Okay, yeah. And she tends to try to breathe her saliva. But got through that Monday. And I just remember talking to one of my coworkers. I think it was, let me see, the Sunday, that's Monday. And Tuesday's one of our busiest nights. And I was talking to one of the other guys that I work with, and he said, he was like, yeah, man, I just hadn't been feeling right, blah, 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 blah. And I just decided to go volunteer for a test. I'm like, what? Hey, it's a big yawn. Yeah. And I was like, what? I didn't know we could get tested. He's like, yeah, I went, they did the nasal swab, and, I got my results back, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, okay, I think I need to do that. Because I was at the point then, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to find out for sure what's going on. I need to find out if I got this. So, I went to the front office at the end of our shift. I was burning up with a fever and just didn't know it. Because I'd taken my Tylenol, but I didn't take any more. So my temperature had gone on. And if you've ever had a fever, it drains you. You're shivering and you don't know it. I work in a freezer, in a deep freezer. It's minus 10 degrees in this freezer. And when you have a fever, you just want to cover up and be warm. You don't know you have a fever. You feel cold. It is the weirdest thing, is you're burning up. I had 102 fever and didn't know it at the time. And so I'm shivering. But anyway, I'm in this office. I'm trying to play it cool, trying to be calm, because the wheels are turning in my head. I know something is wrong. I know something is wrong because this is not me. I don't normally feel this way. I know when something is wrong with me. I knew something was up. And I knew it was more than a flu. I knew it was more than a cold. I knew at that point, this cannot be food poisoning. This is something different. So I went in the front office, basically talked to my human resources and told them I wanted to volunteer to get tested. And they asked me if I had cause, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I just need to stop these wheels from turning in my head. I just need to know. So they set that up, and when I left work that day, I went straight to the testing facility, and got there and did the nasal swab, and they said you'll have the results back within 24 to 48 hours. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah. Yes, I did. And we was worried about you. And that's what Daddy did it. And so went home after that test and went straight back to bed. As soon as I got back home from testing. That was a Wednesday morning. This is Thursday. The next day, I had been in bed. That Thursday afternoon, they called and said, yes, sir, your test is positive. You have COVID-19. So at this point, I'm like, okay, what do I do? At this point, there's really not much we can do. There's no testing, or there's no treatment. So you will just need to quarantine for at least a couple weeks, which means I had to stay home. I couldn't go anywhere because this is not, for my protection. This is for everybody else's protection because, so you don't spread it. So now I'm on house arrest. In a way, it's good news. I'm relieved. I know now. But now I'm terrified because I also have an underlying diabetes, pre-diabetic. And I take medication for that. And all I've been hearing about is how people with underlying conditions are suffering the worst with this. Because it'll throw your entire system out of whack. Because not only do I have to watch what I eat, I have this virus that takes away my appetite, And I'm freaking out because I don't know how this is going to affect me. And so I'm asking the doctors, like, what can I do? They said, just take in your fluids, just get your rest, make sure you quarantine. Is there anybody else in the house with you? I'm like, yeah, there's my wife, there's my baby, and that's our number one concern. They said, well, we really don't have a whole lot of concern with infants, but your wife may want to get tested, but there was nobody else. It was just us. And this is another thing. I thank God that my wife was a trooper, because she took care of me. She checked on me. She made sure I drank my fluids. She had me drinking Powerade. She had me drinking water. I didn't feel like eating, but she made me eat. She made me soups, grilled cheese. She made sure I ate, because I had to keep my system going. I had to keep my even though I didn't have an appetite, I still had to feed my body, because my body was fighting this thing. And with me being loopy and out of it, it was a lifesaver. God bless my wife. I love this woman to death. If it wasn't for her, I would have known nothing, because I wouldn't know to take my temperature. I wouldn't know to make sure I drank. She literally had to do just about everything for me, because I couldn't think to do it myself, because this thing is worse than the flu. It's worse than the flu. It's worse than anything you've ever had, because you can't think. It literally makes you loopy. It literally makes you're not you. You're not you. You're out of it. So I just thank God for her, and that I got through it. And for those of you that have questions about this, you will get through it. You have to get your rest. You have to take your fluids in. You have to check your temperature. You have to be on top of that. Because if you have a fever, you do want to keep it down. A fever is good because it's your body's way of fighting against what you have. Inside, your body knows something's wrong and it's fighting. It can't tell you, but communicate with you like that. But that's how it's telling you. It's telling you, look, we need to raise the temperature in here, because there's something in here that don't belong, and we don't like it. So that's pretty much what the fever is. Your body's multiplying white blood cells, and your heart is racing. Your temperature rises because it's fighting this thing off. It's killing it left and right. It's doing the best it can, but it has to have the nutrients, which is why you got to take your fluids in, which is why you have to eat something, and why you have to get your rest, because that's number one. Your body's expending so much energy, and if you don't replenish that with food and fluids, your body can't fight. It can't survive. It needs that energy. So anyway, I hope this helps. So that Wednesday and the Thursday I had my test. I just slept. I just remember sleeping. That's all I wanted to do was sleep. That's all I could do was sleep and drink. And I was drinking water like you wouldn't believe. Oh my God. And Gatorade. And that is another thing. This thing they talk about with the loss of taste and smell. I didn't even know it. I didn't know I lost my sense of smell. I couldn't smell anything. And as far as taste is concerned, it was like a metal taste in your mouth. It was like metal. It was hard to realize if I lost the taste of my sense of taste, but it was like a metal taste in my mouth. I really couldn't taste anything, and everything else, the flavor was amplified. It was the weirdest thing. So yes, I would have to say I lost my sense of taste and smell because it wasn't normal. And so I mean, I rested. I drank my fluids. Powerade grape, sugar-free, stuff right here. It's good stuff. That got me through. That my wife bought it by the case. I was drinking that stuff, and I was in this house. I was just in the house. It was me and the TV. That was it. Watching the Democratic National Convention. watching the news. I couldn't watch no more about the coronavirus. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't take that no more of that shit because I had it. You know, I didn't want to hear nothing else about it. But I did spend a lot of time on YouTube, watching YouTube videos and listening to other people talk about this thing. I did every now and then click on and you know, to get some information about it, but just about the numbers. But the death thing, I couldn't take, you know, listening to the death toll and all that. And that was another thing because, you know, with the fever, it hung around. The fever hung around. It would go down, but it wouldn't go away. Even with the Tylenol. I mean, it went down around 100. It would hang around 100 degrees. But it wouldn't drop any lower than that. For those of you that don't know, your normal body temperature is 98.6 degrees. And my average temperature was 101. And, you know, talking, what I'm telling you about this thing making you loopy and you're not yourself and you're a little bit crazy, I was sure that I was going to die. I was sure that somehow, someone, somewhere, somehow had given me this virus and they were trying to kill me. That's what having a 102 fever for days on end, for a week at a time, will do to your brain. And with this virus, because your body is so, you succumb to it, and you're in quarantine, and it's just you, because my wife still had to go to work. The babysitter was terrified at that point, so she had to stay home. So my wife had to take some time off work to be home with us and the baby. But they could only do so much because, you know, she hadn't tested positive, so she had to continue to go to work. So so when that took place, there was points where I was feeling a little bit better. I would feel okay. So it would be me and the little lady, and I was terrified because I've got fucking coronavirus, you know, and I've got my baby that I've got to take care of. What? So I sanitize my hands like you wouldn't believe. We got so many bottles of hand sanitizer. Thank God. Because that's the only thing that helped me get through this and feel okay with handling the baby and changing her diapers and fixing her bottles. And I was hand sanitizing like you wouldn't believe. But she, about a week before I come down with this, she had a little cold. Scared us to death. We were horrified. We were praying, Jesus, God, oh Lord, please, God, no. And she was miserable for about 2 days. And then she was fine. Fine. Just laughing and cooing and calm like, you know, everything is great. And I attribute to that, I don't know, to breastfeeding. Because her mother has never in her life had a fever. Her mother has never really been sick with any kind of flu of any kind in her life. And I'm guessing that's the only thing that saved the baby, was she breastfed for that first month or so, which gave her the antibodies and, you know, mother's milk that helped save her. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, I was just in bed, taking my fluids, eating, you know, doing what I'm supposed to do, staying at home. Was on the phone with my mother every single day. Every day I call my mom at the same time, between 3 and 5. And she was happy to hear it. Of course, she was tore up and upset and wanted to make sure I called every day, and I did. And I'm a grown man. I'm on the phone calling my mother every day because I'm sick. Because I'm sick. But it was the best thing, because if there was one thing I can say about this virus and what it's done to the country, to everybody, it's brought us all, in my opinion, brought most of us closer together. Because I was able to spend more time with my baby than I ever thought I would. And with my wife, and don't get me wrong, I mean, you want to get the hell out, you're bored. But if it wasn't for that, I would have been out, just our everyday humdrum, you know, stuff. But we were able to stay home and, you know, focus on what's important, and that's family. That's one blessing I can say that came out of this virus. And but yeah, as time went on, oh, and another thing I discovered was zinc. Taking my zinc. My wife suggested it. She went to the store and got it. And so I started taking a tablet of zinc every day along with my vitamin C and my regular medications I normally take for my diabetes. And I started to get better. I started to feel better after about a week. And at this point, it's been 2 weeks I've had it, and I started to feel a little bit better, but it was short-lived because I thought I was coming out of it, and I've heard this before from other people that you start to feel better, and then you get hit with another wave, and the fever goes back up. And so I went through that for a couple of days with a fever, and I was like, what the? I was pissed. It did eventually start to come back down again because I guess it's your body's doing this last little kick to push this stuff out of your body. And so I think that's what happened. And I kept, taking my medicines every day, taking my zinc, taking my vitamin C, drinking my fluids, getting my rest, sleeping. Just doing stuff you would normally do if you're sick. Just doing what you're told because I was scared to death. Like I said, I never had this before. And it's the coronavirus. The one thing this entire country is trying to avoid you get. So now that you got it, you need to do what you need to do to get rid of it. And so that's what I did. Work was spectacular. My human resources team, they're awesome. They work with me. I was on the phone with them as often as I can, working out plans of how to get through this, financially, just with all the different tools that I need that they had available for me to use. That was awesome. Long story short, I got tested yesterday, went and took my second test, and because you got to get retested to find out if you have it or not, and you got to be symptom free, and my test was negative, so I'm able to return to work, so I'm waiting to get word for that now. But it was some of the scariest, it was one of the scariest times of my life, other than losing my mind and thinking, I'm going to die and in this house and with the coronavirus and then getting through it. It basically took me to the brink of thinking that it was going to happen, and she's not sleeping, but I just thank God. But that's my story. I hope it helps, some people. If you guys got any questions, this is my first YouTube upload ever, so I hope it helps. Alright, you guys take it easy. Take care of yourself. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Sanitize. Keep your distance. Alright? Bless you.